is the story of Saint Valentine. The church remembers him during the time of the year of the color green. I wonder why we remember Valentine. Well, let's see. There once was a man named Valentine who lived in ancient Rome, and not in one of those big houses of smooth white marble, but in rooms above a noisy street. He was a doctor. In his rooms, he had many things to heal people, mostly herbs that he picked in the fields outside of the city. He used something like this to grind up the herbs so that he could use them for medicine. When people came to see him, sometimes they didn't have money to pay him. So he would accept something they had made, a pair of sandals or some warm bread instead. Not everyone knew, but he was also a priest. That had to be kept a secret, because in those days it was against the law to be a Christian. Whenever anything bad happened in the city, they would blame the Christians and put them in jail or kill them. So when Valentine prayed, he did so quietly after closing the door. One day, an old man and a little girl came to his home. She could not see. She was the old man's daughter. He took care of the prisoners in a big jail in Rome. Valentine knew it would be hard to cure her because she had been born blind. But he loved to talk to her. And he put something cool and wet on her eyes to make them feel better. When the old man wanted to pay Valentine, Valentine said, "No, I want to give this to your daughter." At night, when he prayed for his patients, he prayed the most for the little girl. Valentine and the little girl became good friends. Sometimes when her father was busy in the jail, Valentine and the little girl would go into the fields to pick the herbs that he used to heal people. The little girl loved to pick the first flowers to bloom in Rome after winter, the little crocuses. She gave them to her father. One time, Valentine heard a noise outside of his door. He hoped it was the little girl, but instead there was a terrible crash. The Roman soldiers broke into his home and took him away. They had found out that he was a Christian. And they took him to the very jail where the little girl's father was the jailer. The old man could hardly believe his eyes when Valentine was brought into the jail. He didn't know what to do. A few days later, the soldiers came to take Valentine away. Before he left, he asked for a pen and some ink and something to write on. The jailer hurried away to find it. When he came back, Valentine wrote something on the piece of paper. He rolled it up and said, "Please give this to your little girl." He put a hand on each shoulder and looked the man in the eye. The old man watched as he disappeared. And he would never see him again. That night, when he went home, he gave the rolled up piece of paper to his little girl. She asked, "What does it say, Father?" Just then, a crocus that had been rolled up in the paper fell to the floor. The old man read, "From your Valentine." When the little girl picked up the flower, to her great surprise, she could see it. We remember Valentine because he loved so well. I wonder what part of Valentine's story you like best. I wonder what part is the most important. I wonder what part of the story is about you, or where you might be in the story. I wonder if we could leave any part out of the story and still have all the story we need. Here's the medicine grinder that Valentine used to make medicine out of herbs. Here's the letter that Valentine wrote to the little girl before he was taken away from the Roman prison. Here's the crocus, like the crocuses that the little girl would pick when she and Valentine would go out into the fields, and the crocus that she saw with her eyes that fell out of the letter that Valentine had written her. And here's Valentine, a doctor and a priest that loved so well. The story of Saint Valentine.